Rockin' is our business, and rockin' is what we do. Rockin' is our business, and rockin' is what we do. Come on everybody, we want you to rock with us too. Now we got a rockin' bass, a wailin' sax, a hot guitar, the band's on fire, Harold and the guys jump and jive. Come on everybody, keep the joint alive, cause rockin' is our business, and rockin' is what we do. Rock, rock everybody, 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 rock, 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 rock. Joint to rock, all you do is give us a call and we'll be Johnny on the spot. Cause rockin' is our business, and rockin' is what we do. Rock, rock everybody, 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 rock, 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 rock.
Hi, welcome to Wrokdown. I'm Wendy Stapleton. Back in late 1957, a group of young musicians formed one of Australia's first bands. They gained a solid reputation as a tight, professional act and backed touring artists such as Roy Orbison and Dion, as well as supporting Cliff Richard and the Shadows in the early 60s. After a few decades of line-up changes, the band reformed with its original members in 1997 and recorded a CD. Well, since then, their popularity has soared with sell-out crowds at all their live performances, and we'd like to welcome founding member and drummer Harold Frith. How are you, Harold?
Very well, thank you, Wendy.
You would have had to have been one of the first bands.
Oh, we certainly were one of the first bands. We were, in fact, the first charting band. There were a few bands around before us, but we were the first one to hit the charts in Melbourne.
With your own...
Well, with our own record.
record.
In fact, yeah, February '61 saw the beginning of the Melbourne rock recording scene. Thank you very much.
Wow. Thanks to you?
Exactly.
Really?
And with a bit of help, Stan Rofe and our manager, Kevin McClellan, and a few friends, but a few record buyers. But we hit the charts. Then again in April we had a second one, then in July we had a third one.
So how old were you when you did your first record?
I was 21 for 3 years. Because Pete and Graham Lyle, these guys, and Charlie Gould, they were like 16, 17, 18, and so 21 was as much as old as you could be. 22, forget it. Harold Frith, 21-year-old drummer. Charlie Gould was a wonderful guitarist. Player. Look, guitarist. We were the same as any band. Look, the festival records, we cut for festival in 1960. They flew us up to Sydney. We joined Johnny O'Keefe and Cole Joy on the festival label. That was where it was happening, we thought. But nothing. They released a few tracks, but we came back. That was Graham Lyle, the 16-year-old Graham Lyle, who went on to be
conductor and MD for. IMT?
IMT, I think. Don Lane Show, ABC. He's still a very, very well-respected saxophone player.
Well, he's actually, I think, in charge of the music department at Whopper in Perth.
Yeah, that'll be right. In other words, so we had him early. I'll tell you now, at 16, he was already brilliant. He showed us a thing or two.
So how did you start?
Well, I was pretty musical right from the jump. My mother said that about age one, before I could talk, I could sing underneath the spreading chestnut tree. There she said she'd wait for me. All the little birds went tweet, 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 neath the spreading chestnut tree.
And now that's talent. If you can speak at that age, that's really good.
Well, it was way back then.
Joking,
but that's right. Anyway, my mum was very musical. She used to sing all the time, in tune. And my dad used to play a bit of banjo mandolin, which everyone did apparently in the 30s. I think it was what you were supposed to do if you were cool. What was the word? Slick. If you were slick. Slick was the awesome of today.
Cool.
Cool's a little bit...
I'm showing my age.
That's right, yeah. I still say cool, don't you worry.
It's better than... I remember when my brothers were growing up, the word was grouse.
Yeah. No, leave that alone, you reckon there. Not very ladylike. But
not anything like, really.
There's always been a good word, hasn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. So you actually came from a bit of a musical family, didn't you?
They were musical. They're no professionals, but all very musical people.
So they decided to have you get some lessons and...
Well, I decided. I went and had some drum lessons. I saw Judy Garland's little mate, you know...
Mickey Rooney.
Mickey Rooney. I saw him in this Rock Up the Band. There he is. He's playing the drums, and they went up and they won the contest. And I'm thinking, that's what I want to do. I want to do that.
So you took yourself off to what, school? At school?
I went. They wouldn't. At school, I wasn't pushy enough. I've learned to be a bit more pushy. And I was in the fife and drum band, so I had a fife. I lost it the first day, and my mother wouldn't buy me another one. I never forget. Anyway, I went and learnt from Bill Fleming, who he taught Graham Morgan, and in those days he used to play the symphony orchestra. He used to have an act where he did a tap dance on a xylophone. Know what I mean?
Something about drummers and tap dancers.
Yeah, well, Earl Palmer.
Well, I guess it's all...
Earl Palmer, the best drummer in the world, Little Richard, Fats Domino, and everyone else.
Buddy Rich was an amazing tap dancer.
He was. That'd be right. And so Earl Palmer used to tap dance as a child before... That's right, you're right. And... yeah, you're right. I haven't worked on that side of my personality yet.
Well, it's never too late.
Could anyone teach me?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Wendy. Where were we? Remind me.
You were taking drum lessons?
Oh, that's right. And in fact, I was really heavily into trad jazz, New Orleans, the music of New Orleans. I had books by Jelly Roll Morton, My Life, and Fats Satchmo, My Life in New Orleans, all that. The Dixie Flyers was my first band, and my second, and then all this rock and roll thing happened. I thought, wow, I heard Heartbreak Hotel by Elvis Presley. I'd already been into Little Richard and Fats Domino, and I thought, hey, I'm going to get a bit of this. And so I just put an ad in the Essendon Gazette.
Are you from Essendon?
I'm from Essendon.
I'm from Moonee Ponds.
Well, close.
It's next door.
Exactly. And Essendon Gazette, Laurie Bell applied, and we got a few other friends, and we rehearsed, and of course there was nothing much going on, so we said, okay, we'll start our own dance. So we just I went and put an ad in the Essendon Gazette. Oh no, I went to the Essendon Gazette and got an ad, rock to the Thunderbirds, the six kings of rock and roll. We hadn't done a gig yet.
Peter and... Who is it? Other Robinson?
Robertson, he's a piano player.
Oh, okay. Now, Peter Robinson, of course, we're talking about from
The Strangers.
Correct. Which was later on, of course. So he was originally with you.
He was. He was originally a Thunderbird. In fact, I met him on the train, and he had a bass, and I said, you want to be in a rock and roll band? And he said, what's that? I kid you not.
How old was he?
He would have been 16, 17. Yeah, but in other words, he caught up pretty quickly.
Oh,
he knows what rock and roll is.
So he'd obviously been studying bass, but would have probably been going more toward what...
classical, I think classical. Yeah. And so anyway, in fact, you couldn't get basses, or you couldn't get any American stuff then. There was an embargo you had to get. And so Laurie Bell made Peter a bass. Laurie still makes guitars. Laurie Bell is a well-respected luthier.
Is that what it's called?
Luthier.
I didn't know that. It's a person who makes guitars.
Yes, it's a luthier.
This is going to be a fun interview, I can tell you.
Sorry,
we haven't been to the pub, have we?
No, we haven't. Perhaps later?
Sorry, I'm so slack. Yeah, later on. This is good. So there's Peter Robinson.
Murray Robertson.
Charlie Gould.
No, not yet. Laurie Bell. Laurie Bell still the original, and still going pretty well. And in fact, anyway, I'll get to who's in the band now later. But This is the history part. And then anyway, and then Kevin McClellan. Then he ran Earl's Court, and later on Preston Town Hall, which was Johnny Chess's. He took Johnny Chesser away from the Chessmen. And he put him with the Thunderbirds, and we cut some records. We'd already cut the one I said, which was Wild Weekend. That was the first
First
charting record in. Get that, people. Anyway, Wild Weekend, followed by Johnny Chester doing Hokey Pokey, where we went, come on, Harold, hey, Henry, and all this. In other words, we're authenticated on the first hit vocal. So we're there too, like Cliff Ritt in the Shadows. They had Apache, he had Move It.
Yeah.
They were our idols. Now, look, for instance, I decided about a month ago I wanted to get on the ARIA Hall of Fame, but they never heard of us.
I don't believe that they don't know who you are. That's disgusting. It's disgusting.
Look, it's all of
After this, everyone will know who you are.
Well, I hope so. Look, all of this, they're all very young. There'd be no one older than 60, I'm sure.
We will fix it. I don't mean fix it. I don't mean fix it. We'll make it known who you are and that you deserve to be in the Hall of Fame.
Thank you very much, Wendy. I appreciate that, and to everyone involved.
You're welcome. We're going to take a very, very short break and be back with more of the Thunderbirds.
Wrokdown.
Welcome back to Wrokdown. My very special guest this evening is Harold Frith, original member of Thunderbirds. Thunderbirds are go.
No, we don't use puppet analogies around the rock and roll band. But
I know, I was only joking.
That's all right. Everyone, they always say Thunderbirds are go, and I think we were around before they were.
Okay, so you've formed this fabulous band, the Thunderbirds. You've got all these great musos. You had how many records? How many?
Well, there were three. We did about 8 singles for W&G, and we did an album live at Preston Town Hall. We did the Big Six, which was really the first 3 hits plus their flip side, B-sides, and we Festival released a few as well, but they didn't count so much.
So obviously, and the thing is also in the early 70s and late 60s it was a similar situation. There was no such thing as videos or anything like that. So really to promote yourself, you had to go on tours, didn't you?
Yep.
Or you'd go on to the telly, like, was it Johnny O'Keefe's show?
All right. The telly we didn't go to Sydney to record. We didn't do JOK show. We used to watch it a lot, 6 o'clock rock. But down here we did Bert Newton's Swallows show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really.
Was that like Swallows Juniors?
No, it was a bit more growing up. It was, but similar,
okay.
I think. I can't remember exactly. It was Bert Newton's Swallows show.
Yeah, I didn't know he had that. Yeah.
Well, there you go. See, look, I'm telling you lots of stuff you didn't know, Wendy. I mean, you're so young, I mean, that's your problem.
Hang on.
And also we did, Graham Kennedy's IMT.
Yeah, IMT, yeah.
IMT.
Yeah.
Now they wouldn't let us play rock and roll. They wouldn't let us soil their cameras. Over in America, they wouldn't film Elvis Presley below the waist.
Yeah.
Same time, they would not let us play rock and roll. So we did our first hit. First record for festival was Peter Gunn. We did Henry Mancini's Peter Gunn. People mistakenly think we got it from Dwayne Eddy. I think if anyone got it from anyone, Dwayne got it from us.
You.
But this may not be so. But we did predate his version. So
then basically. Fame then depended on airplay and doing all of these wonderful dances.
Mostly airplay on the radio, particularly Stan Rofe. That's really, really how you got famous.
What was that, 3X?
It was 3KZ at that stage. He later went to other other stations. But anyway, we toured. Now in those days, this will sound funny to you guys, but we were one of the first bands to tour regional Victoria. Regional Victoria.
Do a big dance.
Well, yeah, that's right. We were big in Warrigal, hey, but luckily, we did a tour with was Roy Orbison, Ray Peterson, Tell Laura I Love, Dion. That was before he was. It was when he was still doing Why Must I Be a Teenager.
So where would you have done that here, like Festival Hall?
We did Festival Hall Melbourne, Festival Hall Sydney, Festival Hall Brisbane.
Yeah.
You could call that a tour, couldn't you?
Absolutely
A tour, yeah.
Up and down the eastern coast.
That's right. So we went down very well. Well, let's say, still after all this time. The moment that means the most to me was playing Crying for Roy Orbison to finish the show. The last show at Sydney Stadium, or that's still the high point of all this time for me.
Did you get photos?
We've got a photo of Roy with the boys in the Hilton in Sydney, and my wife ripped it up.
You must have been a very naughty boy.
She had her reasons.
Yeah,
I'm not saying she was wrong.
Yeah,
I've still got half.
Don't get your photo of Roy ripped up for nothing.
That's right. I've got half of that photo. Murray Robinson's got the full one somewhere.
Okay, you
Maybe
better
it'll
find
turn
Murray
up.
because you're never going to fix yours up. You were getting me a bit emotional there.
Oh, look, that's how Roy gets to be, mate. The best.
You had quite a few line-up changes.
Yep.
Over the years.
Oh, not too many, just a few.
So in all up, I should say, how many years before the Thunderbirds finally split up?
Okay, round about now. What blew us out of the water was this little band called the Beatles appeared, and I said, "Love Me Do." I said, "I reckon those blokes are actually playing and singing at the same time." I said, and which no one had really done before. I know this sounds strange, but I'm coming to you from a different time.
Now, where you're saying actually like the bass player, the guitarist, the other guitarist used to sing as well.
But not in the old days. They didn't. I'm making it. I know it sounds weird now, but 6 o'clock closing sounds weird too. There were no pubs for us to play.
It's still 6 o'clock closing. AM.
Oh yeah, that's right, exactly. In other words, people don't realise there was no pub rock then. We're pre-pub rock. We're dance rock. All right, we used to smuggle a little bit of the doings in, but we weren't supposed to. But we didn't. We used to have soft drinks like our lime cordial was like brown. You know what I mean? But
you make me laugh.
It is funny.
No, you make me laugh. But anyway.
What are we up to?
I don't know, because every time I look at you, I start crying.
Okay, I know what you're saying. How long did we go and when did we stop? And that's right.
Yeah.
The Beatles, and we said, okay, we're not going to grow our hair long. We're not going to do this stuff. We know what we're doing. Okay, well, we'll knock off. Bugger them.
We're going to take a short break.
All right.
And we'll be back soon. We're going to talk about the fabulous Saltbush when we get back.
Okay.
It's a wonderful band.
All right.
Be back soon.
Wrokdown.
My guest is founding member of the Thunderbirds, Harold. Where were we up to? I think we were up to the Thunderbirds. Finally finished up, but of course you kept on playing with all of these other amazing musos. And then in what year did you form Saltbush?
Formed Saltbush in about 77. When I'd been playing at Heidelberg Town Hall with Charlie and the boys, afterwards in the car park we'd get together with the big band, and naturally under there we'd sink a few, you know, just to ready ourselves for the drive. You're allowed to drink and drive in those days. As long as you didn't do anything silly, you know. Bernie O'Brien and myself formed Saltbush together with Ross Nicholson and Paul Pyle, who were brought along to us by Bobby Bright. We were going to be a backing band for Bobby Bright. We went to Pellegrini's and he checked our star signs to make sure
everything was compatible.
Okay. And then we had a rehearsal down at Armstrong Audio Visual, and we're off and running. And then poor old Bobby. Never going to look at it. We didn't mention. Hey, sorry, Bob. Hey, Bobby Bright is so good. I mean, that would have been something else. But anyway, so then we were a country band then, and then John Blanchfield he put us into the studio down at Armstrong's, and we cut an album, and he put it out, and it was called Saltbush. Oh, sorry, no, we didn't. We went to Twin Rivers. We at Warrandyte. And we cut it. Larry Murray was an American producer who was overdoing Lee Conway, and he slipped us in, and we did that. And that won a track from that, Sassafras Scrap, written by Bernie O'Brien, won at Tamworth, won Best New Talent. We've got a golden guitar for golden guitar. They kill for those these days.
So tell me, what are the Thunderbirds doing now? I believe that you reformed in 1997.
We did.
What brought this about?
A man named Greg Lynch, who was a fan of ours at Earl's Court. he reformed the Thunderbirds. In fact, to be honest, he did one of those again in '83, went live at the Arcadia, went live to the Don Lane show. He's a very handy lad, the old Greg. Anyway, but he came back to us. I won't go on about that. But and then in '97 he did it again. Got us together. We played down at Moorabbin Town Hall for the Elvis Presley fan club thing, and over 2 Saturday nights we played to 2,000 fans. You know, they were there for the Thunderbirds Reformation, and after that. That was all he needed us for. So it was Pete's idea. Well, actually, I think it was his idea, and Pete took it over. But one or the other. We went and cut a new record. We had now Henry Borse, the wonderful Henry Borse, had contracted leukemia. He was supposed to have died with it after a very short time, but Henry wouldn't lay down, and mighty man. So we went in the studio and we cut about 15 tracks or something, 16, and that was a very good recording, I like to think. We released it to Cane Toad Records, and David McLean had that out.
Thunderbirds in the 21st century.
That's it.
And are these re-records again?
What we did, we went into Steve Purcell's of the Pearly Shells recording studio. We had we pinched the sax player from Johnny Farnham, Steve Williams.
Yeah,
had another mate of ours, Ivan Trower, and we cut 3 new tracks.
Which are
Peter Gunn, which was a reprise
I saw Peter Gunn there.
of our original recording for festival, and then it was. I figured that seeing as Bobby Darin had a hit movie going on, we'd use one of his songs, and which is Queen of the Hop.
Oh yeah, second track.
And then Ray Charles became very well known because of the movie Ray. So I figured, hey, let a chance go by. I'll put those tracks on. So we shoved them on the front, and we now had with Thunderbirds in the 21st century.
20 tracks.
20 tracks. 17. One of them was cut in 1958, which is exactly the same band that is happening now. Peter Robinson, Murray Robertson. Myself and Laurie Bell, we were the ones that cut the demo for festival in '58.
And you're still doing gigs?
We're still doing gigs, yeah.
So if you want to find out where the boys are playing, go to our website, which is www.wrokdown.com. You can find out everything you want to know about the Thunderbirds and anything you want to know more about Harold. We've got, another band.
I've whittled it down, I've cut to the chase and distilled it down, and I've just got Les Stackpole, who has been around as long as me. Sorry, Les. And Les Stackpole and Harold Frith are now the band Stackful.
You let us know and we'll put it on the website.
Okay.
And everybody can go and check out Stackful, but also your gigs with the Thunderbirds will go onto the website
Wonderful.
as well. My wonderful,
and
wonderful guest for this evening, would you please thank Harold Frith.
Thank you very much, Wendy.
No, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And we'll say good night and see you next week. See you later.